Hi, I'm Dr. Elizabeth Davidson, and welcome to the weekly Wellbeing Deep Dive. So, this week I'm talking about hormones, and I am excited to tell you more. So the idea with this weekly Wellbeing Deep Dive is that each week we dive into a different topic and get you like the real information on what's actually going on so that you can start to transform your well being and do it all from the comfort of your home. So here we are, diving into hormones, and I am just going to share my screen so you can see what we're doing here. Um, all right. So, weekly well-being deep dive. Here we are. If you're ready to conquer chronic illness, no matter what it is, whether it's fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, IBS, anxiety, depression, anything autoimmune, something that you haven't even gotten a name for, that's even better. I love it when you don't have a diagnosis yet because diagnosis, what does it really mean? Not much. Um, it's really just a name for your symptoms. So let's not focus on diagnosis and really focus on you getting well. And just a second, looks like I have someone else joining here. So welcome, just getting started. And thank you so much for coming, Evelyn. I can't see your face, but I'm guessing that's who you are. So, um, all right. So let's get started on hormones. So, as usual, I want to help you find the roots of your problems. And lots of times, when a hormone disorder gets diagnosed, it's not because your hormones are actually messed up. And so, taking hormones doesn't really do anything to help you get well. It really just throws off all the systems that create the hormones even more. So, in order to find the roots, we have to do some digging, and that's what I'm here for. So, I really want to help people create long lasting internal change because if you just address the symptoms, you're not creating the change. You are not going to make any long lasting change, except maybe your symptoms won't be so bad, but likely you'll have lots of side effects from whatever medication is happening. So, hormones, the basics for healthy hormones. It's not really about your hormone numbers. You have to have a few things in place for your hormone numbers to be correct. So the first is stable blood sugar. And a lot of people struggle with this without even knowing it. But I'm going to talk more about that in just a minute. The next is a diet rich in healthy fats. A lot of people don't realize that healthy fats and cholesterol are the base for all your hormones. So that kind of stuff is really important. And then having your detox systems work really well. So liver and kidneys do a lot of the detoxification in your body. And if those aren't functioning well, then you can't process your hormones. Like, especially if you're a woman, each month you have this buildup of estrogen, and then when you get your period, that's all supposed to like get cycled out. Your liver does a lot of processing of the estrogen and stuff like that. But for a lot of us, that isn't working well. And that is a classic cause of things like endometriosis and polycystic ovarian syndrome, otherwise known as PCOS. So, so first of all, making sure your blood sugar is stable. This is a tricky one because some people just have a propensity to not have stable blood sugar, but a lot of people are living mostly on carbs. Now, carbohydrates, well, let me give you a little picture here. So, if you've ever started a fire, you know that you start with paper because it burns really hot, really fast, but then it's gone. So, you got to have something on there to keep that burning. So, you start with the little twigs and get those started. And then eventually you want that big log because that's going to last a while. So, carbohydrates are like paper, they burn really hot, really fast, and then they're gone. And so, you get this big up and then a crash. Not good for stable blood sugar. And a lot of people have a problem with craving sugar, and that means your blood sugar isn't stable. So one key tip to help stabilize your blood sugar is to, if you crave sugar, eat protein instead. It'll take care of the sugar craving, and it'll also help you become more stable, because things like protein and healthy fats, those are more like the logs in your fire. They're the things that keep you going for a long time. And when you can keep going for a long time, that promotes stability to your blood sugar. I also like to use a supplement to help with blood sugar stabilization. It's called Sinulin. It's made by Systemic Formulas. And if you are curious about that, um, feel free to contact me. It's not something you can just order or buy in a store. You'd have to get it through a practitioner like me. So I can help you with that kind of stuff. The next is the diet rich in healthy fats. And I'm just going to show you a little visual here on what the healthy fats are. So, healthy fats, they are not in a lot of stuff that are in processed foods. So, all of this no category, that's pretty much what you're going to find in anything processed. Um, and those are very inflammatory, and they add a lot of toxins to your system. So, they make it harder for you to use those detoxification systems, and they make everything more inflamed because your body has to heal from them. So inflammation is part of your body's healing process. And if you're injuring your body with things like canola oil, vegetable oil, corn oil, hydrogenated oils, all of these that are highly processed and are higher in like some of the not good fats that you want, you're going to be injuring your body over time and keeping it inflamed, and your hormones aren't going to work as well. So, yes, fats are the fats that you find in grass-fed and pasture-raised meats, wild-caught fish like salmon and sardines, grass-fed butter and ghee. Ghee is just butter with the milk solids removed. Um, pasture-raised lard, tallow, and duck fat, avocados, and cold-pressed olive oil is fairly good. It's also, it's a vegetable fat, so not as nutrition rich as more of the meat fed fats, but better option than some of these. Air fried food. I am not super familiar with air fried food. The question was, is air fried food a good option? So as far as I know, that doesn't have oils. You can unmute and let me know if that's something that you're doing. I haven't done that yet, so I'm not really sure how that works. But you need fat, so anything that's like low fat or non-fat. Oh, your office computer doesn't have a camera or mic. Okay, well, if you want to type in a little bit more about air fried food, go ahead. But I'm thinking that it's cooked with hot air, and that's fine. It's way better than like deep frying or frying in any vegetable oil or stuff like that. But make sure that you're adding in some of these healthy fats, because you really need the really rich fats from grass fed. They're high in omega-3s and all kinds of like longer chain fatty acids that are really absorbable for us and feed our hormone system. And I think I forgot to put the hormone slide. I mean, if you're loving the air fryer food, so the chat is, I bought an air fryer 2 months ago and family and I cook all sorts of foods in it, then great. Just hopefully you're not adding any of these not great fats. And if you want me to email this this visual to you, I can certainly do that. Anyone who's watching this can get this. Let me just see if I can find the hormone base that I need, and that'll help you see a little bit more of why that's so important. It's here in this cholesterol slideshow, so just give me a second here. Yeah, without any oil. Yeah, without any oil is better than using any of those vegetable oils. just make sure that you're adding in some some good healthy fats like are seen on um, that slide that I had previously. So this is the other reason why those grass-fed meats and stuff are important, because cholesterol is the base for all your hormones. So this is the hormone tree, um, and cholesterol is the start of it all. And cholesterol is only found in animal products. It's not in any vegetable products. So if you're eating vegetable oils, then they they're not really giving you any of the nutrition you need to support your hormones because you need that cholesterol. I do caution you though to only get stuff like grass-fed beef and wild-caught salmon, because if you're getting like big farm raised, like factory farm beef and farm salmon and stuff like that, then those animals are being fed things that they're not supposed to be fed. Mostly stuff like corn, but also in order to keep them from getting too sick, because they're not, cows are meant to eat grass, fish are made to eat whatever's in the ocean, whatever they eat, I'm not really sure. But in the farm raised, they mostly get fed corn because corn is so heavily subsidized. And then that makes them sick. So they need to take a lot of medications in order to stay alive long enough to be harvested. So I really caution you to get higher quality meat, grass fed stuff, the wild caught stuff, any of that. Or if you can get wild meats like venison and that kind of thing, then even better, because as you see, you need cholesterol. Cholesterol gets, your body turns it into pregnenolone, and then progesterone, DHA, cortisol, testosterone, and finally estrogen. So all of your sex hormones are based on cholesterol. So really important stuff. And then finally, the detox systems. Those are a little trickier to get well, because there's, if those aren't working that well, then there's usually a bunch of other stuff that's going on. I think the simplest key to having your detox systems working well is making sure that you're well hydrated. And being well hydrated can be a tricky thing, because most of us aren't getting good quality water. So here's my little piece on water. Um, so ideally, water has an electrical charge to it. So if we're drinking really good water, it's spring water, it's been tumbling over rocks and moss and getting ions from all of that motion and from being in touch with the earth. Obviously, most of us aren't getting that kind of water. We're getting um, tap water. It's probably chlorinated. It probably has fluoride in it, all of that stuff. That kind of water, one, the water molecules have lost their charge. So they have a charge so that they can repel each other and be individual water molecules. And those individual six-sided molecules, that's what your cells can absorb. And the other thing with all that kind of water is that it has a bunch of toxins in it. Chlorine and fluoride are toxins, and they're going to jam up your detox systems. So you can drink as much water as you want, but you're not going to be helping yourself because you're not absorbing the water, or it's just full of toxins. So what I recommend for water is I have this tool called a frequency wand, and what it does is it blows a frequency into your water that restores the ions to your water so that the molecules can repel each other so that they're smaller and your cells can absorb them. You can also use this wand on your body, and what it does is your bloodstream is very similar to the water. It's made up of cells, which are like little molecules, and they should have a charge to them. But because we're exposed to so much junk, pesticides, bad water, 5G, cell phones, computers, all of that all the time, our blood cells tend to lose their charge, and then they can't repel each other. So they clump together, and then your blood doesn't flow properly, so that you can't detoxify, and again, causes more inflammation. So I highly recommend this frequency wand. If you want more information about that, I have a little 5-minute video. Actually, I can probably get you the QR code so that you can look at it, and then you can, yeah, here's the QR code. So if you can do the QR code on this video, then look at this. It'll tell you more about the frequency wand, and using that every day is something that can really help your detox systems work well. Um, if you love this video, don't just try to order one online because there are a lot of fakes out there. Talk to me and I will help you get the real thing. They are another tool that's designed to help us be healthier from home. You can get one for only $350 and have it in your home so that you can use it every day. I charge my water every day. I charge myself every day, feeling so much better. So those are the 3 keys um, to getting your hormones being able to function. And so I know that lots of times when people have hormonal issues go on, their MDs want to put them on medication, and a lot of times a hormone replacement medication. Now, the problem with the hormone replacement is that lots of times you don't need that. And when you get on the hormone replacement, it messes up all of the cycle before the hormones come into play, which is a bunch of this kind of stuff. The stable blood sugar, the being able to absorb healthy fats, and for your detox systems to work. And without those cycles working, then everything else kind of falls apart. So common things that well, probably the most common thing I see with people that are on hormone replacement long term is that they wind up getting diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And so, but it can lead to all kinds of problems. And the thing is it's not addressing the problem itself, because the problem itself is coming before the stable blood sugar, the diet rich in healthy fats, and the detox systems. And once you have those working well, then everything else can work well. So if you have questions about this, feel free to contact me. I do a free initial consult, and I also have an online program so you can learn how to analyze your hormone balance and all of the things that contribute to it, just by looking at your blood work and knowing how to read it, and with lots of tips and tricks for you to be able to support your health and well-being from home. You can access all of that on my website, which is drelizabethdavidson.com. I will type that into the chat. And that is a place that you can reach me directly. You can schedule a consult with me. You can send me an email. My email is happynerves@gmail.com. And I would love to help with whatever I can. So if you have any questions at this point, feel free to say them or just put them in the chat. All right. If there are no questions, then I will log off. And if anyone wants to share this meeting, it'll be loaded onto YouTube in just a little while. All right. Thanks for coming.